If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens. Isn't that a shame? You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah.
That was Congresswoman Ilhan Omar of Minnesota reacting to the first State of the Union address of Trump's second term. Also sitting there was Rashida Tlaib of Michigan. Eugene and I had a similar reaction, honestly, on MS Now's YouTube live stream, especially to the moments when the President of the United States told very easily disprovable lies.
Over and over again.
The cheating is rampant in our elections.
It is not.
Rampant.
That is a lie. There's millions of people are not voting illegally in this country. That is not happening. It's not. It's still not today. But Donald Trump still continues to push the SAVE Act. It is this voter ID bill that could block millions of folks like you from voting.
Why would anybody not want voter ID? One reason, because they want to cheat. There's only one reason. They make up all excuses. They say it's racist. They come up with things. You almost say, what imagination they have. They want to cheat. They have cheated. And their policy is so bad that the only way they can get elected is to cheat. And we're going to stop it. We have to stop it.
I have been saying people really need to keep an eye on the foreshadowing. Not even foreshadowing. He has given us his playbook.
They're telling everyone what they're going to do.
They're telling us very clearly what they are trying to do. By they, I mean the president and his team. And they are preparing to argue that, frankly, if the results of the midterm elections do not go their way,
and they don't look like they are.
Tea Leaves Child are not looking good, that they are rigged. That's what the president is going to say. But honestly, I've talked about the State of the Union enough with you, Eugene. I'm going to be honest. I'm actually tired of just talking to you about it. Luckily, we will be joined later by Dr. Mark Lamont Hill, who's an author, educator, and himself a podcast host, and he was watching too.
Yes, but we don't want to only talk to him about the State of the Union because there's a lot of other things happening as well. We're in the middle of a whole lot of other news, Simone.
So much news. Mexico killed a cartel leader, and the cartel made its displeasure known by setting buses on fire. We are still waiting for Trump to decide also if we are invading Iran.
That's little things, just little things, guys. We're still waiting to find out if we're getting money back from the tariffs the Supreme Court said are illegal. I would like to know if I will be getting a refund for the 8.75% surcharge I've been paying to cover Fenty Beauty and also my sweatsuits.
And the Korean skincare.
Rihanna, are we getting our money back? Are you getting your money back? And you can
At least is she going to get her coins back, and then the consumer's going to get theirs. That's the question on the table.
Yeah.
As Jamel Hill told us last week on Clock It, she was our guest.
Yes.
It's not a new major story every day. It's every 15 minutes, it
2
feels
minutes
like.
sometimes.
Honestly, every 30 seconds. I'm scared to look at my phone right now. So while all of that has been happening, Eugene, we've had some group chat conversations. What has been in our group chat this week?
I don't know. I think that maybe something may have happened while Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo were on stage in London. We're going to talk about it. Kash Patel, the FBI director, went to the Olympics on your dime. And a primary in Texas is up for grabs after one of the candidates' affairs with the staffer came out. It is not the Democrats, just to be very clear. This is a Republican fight. Issue.
Correct.
Issue.
Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
My phone was literally blowing up over the weekend around this insane incident at the BAFTAs. Eugene was actually the chief person blowing my phone up.
Lots of questions.
Correct. Okay, so the BAFTAs, it's like the British version of the Oscars for people that don't know. And a Tourette's advocate named John Davidson was actually in the audience because there's a biopic about him that was up for an award. So, you bring the people.
Yeah.
It all seemed great and good. But when Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo of Sinners fame were on stage presenting, he shouted the N-word. And I want to be clear, it was a hard ER.
Delroy and I are delighted to be presenting the first BAFTA of the night for a vital part of movie making.
We're here to celebrate the artists who expand what's possible on screen.
Visual effects can create spectacle.
You hear how we bleeped it? It
It was
wasn't bleeped.
not bleeped.
That was us. That was an edit we made.
Uh-huh.
It was not bleeped. Now, you know, one of my good girlfriends
Yes.
was at the BAFTA,
Mhm.
okay? She was at the BAFTA. She does a lot of beauty consulting work. We call her the Olivia Pope of the beauty world, actually.
Yes, we love
and
her.
so
She's
she was there.
gorgeous.
They did some events in connection with the BAFTAs. And so she attended,
Mhm.
with the people in charge. She was sitting 2 rows behind Mr. John Davidson. And she told me, and she's talked about this publicly, so
Yeah.
I'm fine to just,
Yeah.
give the tea. But she told me that it was insane in the room. And that interruption that we heard, that outburst with the N word, it wasn't the first one. There were multiple other outbursts that night. But this one seemed very specific. And, frankly, when you see 2 black men on stage, the N word is like, now, even though John Davidson has put out a statement to
Mhm.
Variety since then saying what I yell as a part of this, syndrome that I have is not a reflection of my intentions. It's not a reflection of what I believe. It's actually the opposite. But in that statement that he put out, I'm going to be honest, I have not seen an apology. But if not on him, what about the BAFTAs? Why did the
issue-
BAFTAs not address this better?
My issue is not with Mr. Davidson. It's not, right? This is something he's been dealing with. There are people and influencers, black ones, who are explaining how Tourette's work and that it isn't an example of how you feel.
Right, but you still have to say sorry. Like, if
And-
I hit you with my purse as I'm walking out,
You say,
it was an
"Oops."
accident, I say I'm sorry
But
about that.
my biggest issue is with the BAFTA, Simone.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, they decided to let it stay in and air while you guys, they bleeped out and cut out other things. Like someone said Free Palestine in their speech. That got cut out. So they have the ability to cut things out, but they chose and made a choice to leave this man yelling the N-word out. It was a disservice to Delroy Lindo and Michael B. Jordan. It was a disservice to Mr. Davidson as well and the people who are watching. They made a decision of what they wanted to represent the BAFTAs, their award show, and their organization. And I still have not heard a good enough apology from them at this point. It's very much like, we're very sorry, people were offended. Thank you for creating a space where everyone can be.
They asked
That is
for
not the
understanding.
issue.
They asked for understanding. And to be very clear, the floor manager at the BAFTAs warned the audience in advance that Mr. Davidson has Tourette's syndrome. And so they asked people to please be aware that you might hear some involuntary noises or movements during the ceremony. After the N-word debacle, the host of the BAFTAs that night
Mr.
got up there,
Cumming.
asked for understanding. Let me tell you something. I'm tired of people asking me for understanding, not just during Black History Month, but every month of the year. Why do I have to have some understanding
All the
about the
time.
N-word? As the host, there are many a times where I have been, asked to say something, whether I've been hosting a show or whether I've been someone's spokesperson.
Right.
And I'm responsible for what comes out of my mouth.
Correct.
Mr. Cummings should have been like, you know what? I'm sorry. We need to say sorry. Understanding is not going to meet the moment. Now, my good girlfriend went to the Baptist people.
Yeah, what did she say to that?
And she told them, understanding is not enough. She told the executive director, the comms director, they was in a huddle, child. Olivia Pope of Beauty was working for
Well, they're
us
not
all.
listening to her.
They did not listen to her. They said, okay, well, we're going to need to put out a statement tomorrow. And she said, no, you're going to need a statement tonight. And she had to show them on her phone how this was blowing up on social media and said, hey, this has hit the U.S. So it's not like the Baptists didn't know. So they have missed the mark. I am looking forward to the Michael B. Jordan Lifetime Achievement Award
Yes.
that the
Yes.
Baptist is going to start giving out, and Delroy Lindo, because to be clear, the grace that they showed in that moment, I'm not surprised that
have
they
it.
showed the
I
grace.
don't have it,
I'm
'cause
not
I'd be very
surprised that they
confused.
showed it.
Very
I'm not
confused.
surprised they showed it, but
Very happy for them.
not during Black History Month. I'm tired.
And another thing.
Yeah, there's more, right? Because superstar athletes, they have also been enduring abuse while they're just doing their jobs. Do you know who Vinny Jr. is?
Only because the producers told me.
Okay, all right. Well, for people that don't know,
Yes.
Vinny Jr. is a Brazilian soccer player for Real Madrid, not Real Madrid. As some
Yeah,
people might
she's
say
been
it's
saying it
Real,
wrong for many
folks.
years, y'all.
And during a recent game, Vinny claimed that another player covered his mouth, that the player covered his mouth with his own jersey to call Vinny a monkey. And Eugene, let me just tell you, Vinny's teammate,
Go ahead and play it.
Vinny Jr.'s teammate, Mr. Mbappe, he was speaking during an interview with CBS sports broadcaster Kate Scott, and he described the incident from his perspective on the field. This is what he said, and this is Kate Scott translating for him. Take a listen.
Hay el número 25 de Benfica.
This is
no quiero decir
the
su
player
nombre,
number
no lo merece.
25 from Benfica. I don't want to say his name because he doesn't deserve it, who starts speaking badly. I don't accept that, but it happens in football. He then put his shirt over his mouth to call Vinny a monkey 5 times. I heard it. There were Benfica players who heard it too.
A monkey 5 times. I would like a redo of Black History Month. I feel like between the president's monkey video, this monkey thing, the BAFTAs, I want a redo. I want a redo, and I want a 31-day redo because this 28 days has been raggedy as hell.
Raggedy is an understatement. I don't understand why people always pick this month to act a fool.
Every time.
I do not understand. The monkeys is a choice. Okay? The reaction to the N-word at the BAFTAs is a choice. The fact that why do Vinny Jr.'s teammates have to go out and do interviews saying that, like, also, yeah, no, this definitely happened. He said this. Where is the accountability for the team? Where is accountability for the owners? What is going on in the soccer world, in the football world?
Do you know what's interesting is there's actually a lot of racism, a lot of athletes
in general,
in general, but in sports,
to keep from
and that
crying.
people don't know that, like especially when you have people with black skin, brown skin playing in different countries on different teams. Even sometimes the fans are terrible to them. It's bad. And Vinny, we're sorry.
Vinny, we're sorry. Delroy
On their
Lindo, we are
behalf.
sorry.
Michael B. Jordan,
we're sorry because the
and call
BAFTAs ain't
us.
apologized to them.
Michael B. Jordan.
The
Also
sports
call
team
us.
ain't apologized to
No.
Vinny and them. We saying sorry on behalf of all the who should have said sorry.
Exactly. There was some additional sports news that caught our attention. It has to be big to catch our attention. Do y'all remember when your FBI director, Kash Patel, said this?
Oh, yes.
I'm not saying take all their funding. I'm not the defund everything guy. I'm just saying Chris Wray doesn't need a government-funded G5 jet to go to vacation. Maybe we ground that plane. $15,000 every time it takes off.
Well, how times have changed. That was Kash Patel in December 2023. He was on Glenn Beck's podcast. Now, cut to Sunday night when I saw this video go across my feed, texting Miss Simone Sanders Townsend about it. This is Patel in Milan in the hockey locker room, having a good old time. Now,
Let's talk about the Winter Olympics, okay? First of all, if you have not seen this video and y'all are listening on wherever you get your podcast,
Go
please
Google it. Yeah.
Kash Patel is having a good old stinking nasty time
Drinking.
in Milan in his USA Today gear. He's in the locker room like he just won. Now, it's important to note that Kash Patel is actually a very big U.S. Hockey fan, which is why he felt it was appropriate apparently to use U.S. tax dollars to fly over to Milano during the 2026 Winter Games to watch them play. He flew on an FBI Gulfstream jet. Do you want to know how much it cost?
Yeah, tell the people.
About $75,000.
That's your money.
He was drinking beers, jumping with the players. And then the president of the United States actually called in to Kash Patel's cell phone, and Kash Patel put it on speaker.
I just told my people 2 minutes ago, I didn't know they'd be calling. I said, we're giving the State of the Union speech on Tuesday night. I could send a military plane or something, but if you would like to, it's the coolest night, it's the biggest. We're in. Yeah.
Can you pick us up in Miami on Tuesday morning? Yeah, Tuesday morning.
We'll just have some fun. We have medals for you guys. And we have to, I must tell you, we're going to have to bring the women's team. You do know that. I do believe I probably would be impeached, okay?
I do believe I would probably be impeached if the women's team wasn't invited. What? And then people were laughing. What is so funny about inviting the women? Look, I'm not
Locker room
hating on
talk.
Kash Patel. But
Why
I
not?
Just, well,
Wait, back up. Back the truck up. Kash Patel
my
used
point is I'm not
your
a hater.
money. Yes,
Yes,
correct.
I'm not a hater.
But
This
we
is
have
the
lots of
problem.
questions. It is not, I don't mind that he went to it at all. I don't mind. Governor Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan was over there watching games. The issue.
I would have liked to be at the Olympics.
I would have loved to be there. I love Beyonce. Love Beyonce. I love to go to Beyonce concerts. I don't use MS Now's credit card to do it.
Baby, if you did, you would be
Answer my
MS
black job would be
unemployed.
correct. It'd be Cockett starring Simone by herself. And rest in peace, Eugene's career.
And rest in peace, Eugene's career.
Like, he is utilizing his position and the money that the American people pay to protect them and for him to do his job, getting on this jet. And he's not just going over to the Olympics. He's going to go see his girlfriend in concert. There are a lot of different ways in which he's misusing it. And the hypocrisy wouldn't be so crazy if he himself had not said over and over again that Chris Wray shouldn't be flying.
We had the tape. We just rolled it. The FBI spokesperson said that the trip was legit, Eugene.
Sure.
They said that the trip included meetings with Italian law enforcement.
Oh, great.
That the ambassador had meetings with him. The U.S. consulate did a briefing with him on Olympic security. Some of those were held in Rome. The FBI director had to be there. You know, Senator Dick Durbin, Senator out of Illinois, who is retiring, by the way. Seat is up. He sent a letter to the Department of Justice, because that is what members of Congress do,
their job,
to register their discontent. And he sent it to the DOJ Inspector General before the State of the Union, basically asking, what's going on here?
Where's the stuff?
Where's the stuff? He was noting that the FBI's G5 was actually unavailable during the Brown University shooting in December because Patel was using it to visit his parents. Doesn't seem appropriate to me.
I have lots of questions.
Lots of questions.
Not a lot of answers. Not a lot of
It's really
answers.
crazy.
Not at all.
I could talk about Kash Patel all day
We're not
long,
going to do that.
but we will not be
on.
doing that.
There's also a story brewing in Texas.
And I'm not talking about the election.
No.
Well, at least not the Democrats.
No, not this time. Remember, I have a Texas tattoo. I have to remind you guys when I have that. It's very confusing.
It's Congressman
Tony Gonzalez, he's a Republican. He represents the 23rd, which is a very big district. It's on the border with Mexico. It goes all the way from El Paso to San Antonio.
It's the largest district in Texas,
very
right?
huge. It's huge. He's in his third term. He's Trump endorsed. He is facing a primary challenge on February 17th. The San Antonio Express News published text messages between two women who worked in his office talking about how one of them had an affair with Congressman Gonzalez. The next day, the husband of the staffer who had the affair with him talks to the paper. He says, Tony Gonzalez badgered my wife and is sleeping with him. And when I confronted him, he froze out my wife. She became depressed and she died by suicide this fall. Now that this story is out, Tony Gonzalez is under a lot of pressure from Republicans and Democrats to leave. But so far, the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, who has a very teeny tiny majority in the House, is sticking beside him. Listen to this.
The allegations are, it's detestable what is being alleged. My understanding is he's denied a lot of this, and we're trying to sort it out. Now, it has been reported that the Office of Congressional Conduct is investigating this and has been for some time. And what we do here is we allow all the facts to play out. That's what we must do.
So interesting that now he's waiting for due process, waiting for all the facts. He doesn't do that on literally any other issue at all. We reached out, MS Now reached out to Tony Gonzalez for comment. We have yet to receive a response. But Gonzalez made a statement to the Texas Tribune.
What did that one say?
He blamed his primary opponent for the text messages making their way to the newspaper. He said, quote, "It's shameful that Brandon Herrera is using a disgruntled former staffer to smear her memory and score political points."
His response is very cynical. He's trying to use her as a shield. And I'm sick. I thought Mike Johnson was a Bible-toting member of the caucus.
But he's also someone who knows what his numbers look like. And I think it is very interesting that when decisions have to be made that require moral clarity, that politics often win out in this country. That has been happening for a very long time. But I think every time it happens, it's a surprise and it should be shocking. We should be concerned about it. I think the numbers are dwindling in his House majority.
He's got less than a 3-seat majority. At this point, as we have this conversation, it might only be a 1-seat majority.
Depending on when you do it, who knows?
Yes.
But I think at the end of the day, this is a majority question, not is it bad? And it's a moral clarity question from a party who says they are a party of family values.
This is not giving family values. It's giving inappropriate and adultery, child. We're going to take a break right here. We're going to just pause. We're going to take a beat in the breath.
Deep breath.
And we're going to come back with Professor Mark Lamont Hill so we can talk a little more about the State of the Union, because I'm tired of talking about it with Eugene, and also what Gavin Newsom was saying in Atlanta.
Welcome back. Mark Lamont Hill is an academic, a writer, an analyst, and an activist. Y'all know who he is. He hosts
has a lot of jobs.
Lots of jobs, lots of black jobs. He hosts Upfront for Al Jazeera and Night School on his own YouTube channel. He is a correspondent for BET News and a co-host of the Joe Budden podcast. Lots of things happen on that. Y'all should watch it. He is also our friend, and we are very grateful to have him in here, made the trek in the snow, sort of.
Anything
in the slush, in the studio.
Exactly.
Yes.
Welcome to the group chat, Mark. Okay, Mark, where would you like to start? It's
You watched the
insane
State
in
of
the
the Union.
streets.
I did. It was long.
Very long.
It was long. It was
Longest
an
in
hour
history.
and 47 minutes.
Yes.
There's so much ego attached to that.
Oh,
You
that's
know?
interesting.
Like
Yeah.
I need to have the world's biggest this, the
Mhm.
world's whatever, the
Yeah.
world's longest State of the Union address.
Yeah.
So you say I'm gonna have the longest one. Y'all gonna
Right.
sit here through all of this BS for this hour and 40
Yeah.
He was
plus.
giving out medals like Oprah.
And that was the thing. It's like
it was crazy.
You get a car. You get a car. Medal for you. Medal for you. You know, somebody on the internet. I'm trying to. My husband keeps telling me, do not read the comments, no response.
He
So
told
now
you that a lot.
I just start to respond on the podcast. And so,
better. That's a
you
little
know,
better.
Yeah,
A
I'm
little
just,
better.
I'm just gonna respond on the podcast. So someone in the comments last night, because I made this point after one of
Yeah.
the many we was on for a long time, long time on Tuesday after the State of the Union, and I made the point that the president used our military, our servicemen and women, and even the U.S. men's hockey team as props, political
Yes.
props.
Yeah.
And I don't
He
think
gave
they
the
should have
goalie
been.
the Medal of Freedom.
I mean, someone in the comments said, he didn't give those out. Those were earned. See, you all don't support the military. Trump. I don't think people understand. Yes, they were earned, but the point is he's trying to capitalize
Exactly.
on what they have done, on their work. He's trying to capitalize
make
on
it
the
about
success
him.
of the U.S. Olympics team and make it about him. He ain't a draft dodger.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
the thing is
Like
this was
that.
the thing that was
Bone
happening
spurs.
as this happened, as he's like giving out all these awards or whatever he wants to call them. The thing that
They were
became very
medals of
clear,
medals.
yes, whatever. He wants as he's handing them out, the only thing I can think of, he's doing this because he doesn't want to talk about the economy. He's doing this because the actual data that he has to present to the American people doesn't exist. And most importantly, the vision that is required in that speech in a midterm year that is not looking good for his party, he is not helping to give them something to run. This is the biggest stage he's going to have this year. So that was it. That was the message as he goes in, Mark, into the midterm year. That is what he said the Republican Party is about. What it is, I don't know what it is.
I mean, he definitely went on the attack. He said, I'm going to work with what I have. He doesn't have the economy.
This is true.
You know, he doesn't have popular support right
Yeah.
now. People are
It's terrible. He paid him.
yeah.
Very upset.
So what he says is, look at those Democrats over there. They're crazy. Look how rude they are. They won't even stand. He gets into a back and forth with them
Yeah.
because that's a distraction. Bringing people from behind the wall, behind the curtain, giving
doors.
out awards. Yeah, like this. But it's a cynical play, but it's a belief that the American people aren't smart enough to see what's in front of them, that we're not smart enough to listen to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, that we're not
Right.
smart enough to read international news. You know, it's a very domestic-based State of the Union address as well. Very little on Iran, almost nothing on Venezuela. And when he does, again, more theatrics. I'm reuniting a family. It's all theatrics because
He did do that, yeah.
Yeah.
because he doesn't want us to pay attention to what's in front of us. And he believes, and for good reason, that the American people will ignore the facts and go with him anyway.
When he said the state of our union is strong, our economy is strong, people in the chat on MS Now's YouTube live stream were like, what is it? I mean, to be clear, beef is up 15%. Eggs are down because it was the avian flu. And so it's gotten back to normal levels. But orange juice is up. I mean, anybody that has gone to the grocery store, it is more expensive to live your life now than it was before Donald Trump was back in
I went to the
office.
refrigerator out there in the break room. I'm taking stuff home. Yeah. I can't afford
MS
Y'all
Now
check his
security will
bag
be at
as
the
he
door on
leaves
his
the
way
building,
out.
please.
Okay, before we leave the State of the Union, can we put on the table the fact that I think that the things that broke through from the State of the Union on Tuesday that we will still be talking about in the weeks and days to come isn't what Donald Trump necessarily did. It's Al Green
Yeah.
Yes.
being escorted out in the first 5 minutes because he held up the sign that said black people are not apes. It's Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib literally shouting down the president's lies, which I appreciate. I think the Democrats' strategy going in talking about, well, we're going to sit in silent defiance. Silent defiance for somebody like Donald Trump on a stage like that is just background noise. The American people are looking to know that the Democrats understand the assignment.
They want Democrats to get caught fighting, and that is the
I
part.
love that phrase.
I mean, it's just like
That's a great way
have to at least
putting
be
it.
trying to do it. You don't have
Yeah.
to the fight. You got to win the fight, right? This is why the shutdown last year worked, because it was like they were caught fighting about healthcare, and now the conversation was about healthcare and not about the fact that they shut down the government. And when you look at how Democrats are operating in this moment, you have Abigail Spanberger, who gave the Democratic State of the Union response. Fine speech. I
Do
think
we
a lot of
think
people
TikTok
said it
saw
was
the
a very good
response?
speech.
Did the street see what Abigail
Streets ain't see
Spanberger
nothing.
had
And
to
that's the
say?
thing. And so
They ain't
maybe
see
that's
it.
what maybe they didn't want anyone to be talking about it. Maybe they thought, like, if they're not talking about our response, maybe that's good. But then you had all these other responses.
Solid logic.
Exist crazy. There's safety, right? Because what we were talking about yesterday, Simone, is that they feel like they're on the offense.
Yeah.
And their reaction
Democrats
to
in
being
Congress,
yes.
elected Democrats.
And their reaction to being on offense is to play it safe, it seems. And this is, in my opinion, this is staffers telling me, like, yeah, our bosses want to play it safe. And I think that I played college football. People are very confused about that because of the nail polish. I understand. But I played college football.
They got me sitting on two pillows right now because he's a tall man.
Exactly. You can do offense, but you also have to play defense.
Yeah.
And I think that is part of the thing that's missing here from Democrats.
I think that's right. And if you go into prevent too early, you can lose, right? If you play it too safe, you run the ball too much, you can lose.
Correct.
This is what's happening right now. They have a false sense of security and a false sense of safety that's informed not at all by history. They need to be aggressive and they need to be on the offense. Silent defiance to someone who's not paying careful attention looks a lot like cowardice.
Yeah.
Oh,
You can't assume that because you're saying nothing that we should assume that there's righteous indignation in that. Trump is a bully. And the only way to defeat a bully is to push back, is to fight. And they need to fight. Rashida Tlaib shows that. The one moment I stood was Ilhan and Al Green. Because those are the moments where I'm like, yes, that's what we need to do.
Why is it always people of color that feel like they have to put their bodies, their careers? You know, Al Green got censured last time when he at the Joint Congress last year. It feels like it is people of color who are saying
who understand the assignment?
Right? And that is what's happening.
I think some of it is because a whole bunch of people of color ain't say nothing. So I want to be clear about that too. You know, but
a couple of them.
But the people like Ilhan and Rashida, the question is, why are they there? They didn't go to Congress to get rich. They didn't go to Congress to get famous. They went to Congress to impact their communities and to effect change. And that's what they're doing. And Black folk, we've always been at risk.
Yeah.
In this country, we're always at risk.
Yeah.
There's always something to lose. The stakes are always high. So it's not new to us. And so I think you'll see, and same thing with Rashida Tlaib as a Palestinian, same thing with Ilhan Omar as a Somali. So there's no surprise to me. And I ain't saying shame Black, y'all. So it's no surprise to me that they're willing to put that risk up. They've been afraid of much more.
Yeah.
Eugene had a lot to say in our group chat earlier this week about the governor of California.
I had lots of things.
He was on stage in Atlanta to preview his memoir. It's called Young Man in a Hurry. And he sat down with newly reelected Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens. And Newsom was being asked about what he wanted people to know about his experience growing up with dyslexia. And I think we should just play for people what he had to say.
Like so many folks, I put a mask on. And my face was starting to grow into it. I was trying to be someone I was not. It wasn't that I was inauthentic, I wasn't who I am. I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to impress upon you. I'm like you. I'm no better than you. You know, I'm a 960 SAT guy. And I'm not trying to offend anyone, trying to act all there if you got 940. You've never seen me read a speech because I cannot read a speech. Maybe the wrong business to be in. My dyslexia, I haven't overcome dyslexia. I'm living with it.
I'm not here to speak for Mayor Dickens, but I just encourage people, again, if you are listening, wherever you get your podcast, please look at the video. Mayor Dickens was like,
I know what that black face looks like.
That was a black face, like, what you saying?
Excuse me. So I think part of the thing that was so interesting here is he's trying to be relatable, right? He is trying to be like, I too struggle, right? Like, I am someone who has had to figure out how to overcome. I have talked to a lot of people, a lot of black people who are still the base of the Democratic Party, whether y'all want that to be the case or not. What they heard and the way it came off felt off to them, right? Like, it did not feel like I'm dealing with dyslexia. It's like, y'all dumb too. That was what a lot of people took from it. I'm saying I took that. I think a lot of people took from that was like, I can't read, right? And everyone's like, we can read. sir. I'm not. I know.
See,
and he said this before, to be clear.
He has said it before.
But he might need to stop saying
I'm
it
gonna put
like
my
that.
Gavin Newsom cape on for 1 second.
Okay.
Let me get my lighter.
And
Burn it up.
I know. But to be clear, I'm not a Gavin Newsom fan. I'm not a Gavin Newsom voter. I'm not telling people that Gavin Newsom is a great candidate. I think he can win.
Yeah.
And I think he's better than Trump. But I'm just saying, I'm not saying this as some paid Gavin Newsom person. I'm saying this as somebody who just likes the facts. I think our reaction to that was informed by how it was presented to us. You know,
the internet.
Yeah, it's like the old Huxtable thing about bringing the food or the steak on the trash can.
Yeah.
It's like if you bring, so the internet brought it to us as, listen to Gavin Newsom telling a room full of black voters that he's like them, 960 SAT, and I can't read.
Yeah.
Now the facts of it is, one, it wasn't a room full of black voters. If you look at the video, if you look at the still footage, and I spoke to many people on the ground, it was maybe 85% white, 80%. I think that matters.
Yeah.
So that I'm just like you wasn't black people. So
he wasn't even talking to us.
He wasn't talking to us. My thing is, if in a room full of 800 white people and 200 black people, and he said, I'm just like you, I can't read, why do you think he's talking to the black people?
Yeah.
Why are you so saying
Yeah.
that? But again, it was presented to us, like he said, it in a room full of black people.
You better teach us,
You know what I mean?
Mark. You better teach us.
That matters,
Yeah,
right?
it
This
does
matters.
matter.
Wait, just one more quick thing.
Yeah.
And y'all played the right clip.
Yes.
Yes.
The original clip doesn't have him saying anything about dyslexia.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it stops at I can't read.
Right.
He didn't say I can't read. He said I can't read speeches. And he's talking about the prompter.
Yeah.
And again, and lastly, he said it the exact same thing, word for word,
Yes, before.
to all white audiences and to white interviewers. He ain't that original. He ain't that clever.
Yeah.
Politicians say the same thing. I mean, you they say the same thing, the same jokes, the same impromptu.
Yeah.
They say the same ish every time.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
don't change.
Yeah.
So you can not like Gavin Newsom. Plenty of reasons to not like any politician. This just ain't one of them.
What do
You know what? This is a good point. I just think it's a good point about the misinformation and disinformation and how what plays on social media. I mean, you come on now. I mean, I listen to the Joe Budden podcast.
Yeah.
Sometimes a little clip get out and it's like somebody didn't listen to the whole conversation.
Yep.
And now you on the internet and they trying to eat you up.
Exactly.
And you get
Words
them
be
back.
tricky.
Yeah. Words are hard. Okay.
Words are very difficult.
Words are hard. Mark Lamont Hill, thank you for coming on.
Always.
We appreciate it.
We
come back again?
it.
Yeah,
Yes.
you can come back
Yes.
because you know what he gave, how it was presented on the Gavin Newsom clip
Very
is
interesting.
very important,
Mhm.
and the streets need to see it. They trying to dupe us. They trying to hoodwink and
Uh-huh.
bamboozle us.
Exactly.
And the
Put
right wing
wool
used it. The
over
right
our
wing used it immediately to be
Yeah.
like, "We love black
They're
people."
the
He
ones
does
who
it.
presented it to us.
You know, I know it's bad. When Christopher Rufo came out and said, he said, look, I watched the whole video. This ain't racist, y'all. Like, him and Eric, it was like right wingers were even like, come on, yo, we got better stuff than this.
They're like, don't be weird.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
we got plenty of time to lie. Let's pace ourselves.
I'm
Let's
crying.
eat over here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming
Love
on,
y'all. Let me
sir.
get to y'all
Thank you, thank you,
refrigerator.
thank you. Yeah, even the sidewalks of New York are slippery and very gross, so we appreciate it. We're going to take a break now, but stick around for the side chat.
Greetings. Welcome back to the portion of the show we call the side chat.
11-9.
You know, where when we're done with the group chat, you know, sometimes you got to break up to the side chat and talk about what y'all just discussed after the company has left. Mark was the company. He is gone. We
Yes.
appreciate him. One, I liked Mark Lamont Hill. He can
Love.
definitely come back.
So
you know what?
smart.
He gave me a different perspective
Yes.
about the...
Because the streets were saying one thing, and I think his different
Yeah.
take on the Gavin Newsom video is very good.
Exactly. Even though
Yes.
I do feel like that he needs to refine his message, Gavin Newsom, if he really would like to
Because
run for
you're
president.
because you have to be careful about falling into traps set by
Correct.
the
And the
Republicans.
videos matter because the viral videos could color what the voters are actually thinking, which will inform what they do at the ballot box. But
You might
don't
know.
take my word for
Obviously,
it.
they might
Been there,
want
baby.
to.
How are you clearing your mind after this, let's say, hectic week?
You guys, I am going to be going to see tonight. So this is Thursday. It's come out on Thursday. I will be seeing Scream 7. I love.
Are you a Scream fan?
I love Scream, and I love a horror movie, but I'm very jumpy also. So it's actually not. It makes zero
That's why
sense.
I'm like,
No, I'm very jumpy. I'm very scared. I'm going to watch and be in my hotel like scared the whole time, but I'm very excited to go see it. I love me some Scream. It is what I do on election days.
Oh,
Because you're not
really?
doing most of the day. You're like waiting around until the results start.
Not
I
I
put
said
on
the
some
black cat. I am
skincare
reading
and
it
I
on the
watch Scream
phone.
1 and Scream 2 while I'm talking.
What?
Like, hello, while they running around. So very excited. But you
Okay,
have something
I'm
else.
not a Scream fan per
Yes,
se.
you
No
need to
shade to
be.
the Scream franchise. It's just not for me.
You need to catch up.
I don't think I'll be doing that, but I will be catching up on Paradise.
Love Paradise.
Paradise is back. Paradise was robbed at all the award shows. Justice for Sterling K. Brown, okay? If you have not seen Paradise, 3 episodes dropped on
Have you watched
the
them
first
yet?
day. I've watched part of when this is over, I'm about to go watch Paradise. I've been working very hard these last
It's
couple of days.
very
I've been
true.
very stressed, actually. And so I need to decompress. I'm about to decompress on Hulu. I just love Paradise so much.
It's a
and I
very
think
good show.
It's a
Layered,
good show. It's
nuanced.
layered. Now, honestly, it all boils down to like the end of the world might be coming and the billionaires decide to save themselves and just a little bit of humanity, which might be a little too close to home.
Yeah,
but
maybe it's too much
maybe
for
that's
us.
why. Maybe that's why I like it so much, okay?
It feels like right now.
It's trauma.
Not good.
What else are you doing this weekend?
Working.
No, aren't we going to a wedding?
Oh, we're going to a wedding.
Yes,
We're going to a
yes,
wedding.
Yes, a friend
She's
of
my
ours
plus one.
here
I'm her
is
plus one.
getting married. Shout out to Richard.
Yes.
And so we are going to Richard's very fabulous wedding.
Can't wait.
I
I'm wearing
cannot
pink.
wait. Oh, are you? Okay, we need to coordinate
Yes.
on the outfit.
Pink
so-
tuxedo.
Oh, all right. I need to do
Get it
another Rent the
together.
Runway.
Correct. Call them.
Well, Eugene, I'm gonna go do my Rent the Runway
Yes.
order.
Step it up.
Also, I might need to call St. John's and see what they can get for me. The St. John knit. We have made it.
We
this
did
is
it.
episode 3.
Yeah,
of
still not
Clock It.
fired.
Still not fired. You all are still listening and watching. We appreciate you. Please rate us. We want to know what y'all
And
are
write the
thinking.
comments.
Rate and comment.
Yes.
Email us. Hit us on social media. We want to know what you think, and we will be back next week yet again because if it's Thursday, baby, an episode of Clock It is dropping, and we are clocking it.